Welcome back to the Macro Golf podcast. It's been a while since we've been away, and we're back now. Took some time off over the summer, and now we're going to be coming back with some regular episodes for you guys after taking our rest. What better way to kick off the new series of the podcast than with a Q&A session? So what we're going to try and do in this series, we're going to try and get some guests on, and we're going to try and answer more of your questions. So we're going to start that today with a bit of a Q&A session between the two of us. And then as we go on, we'll start getting some more guests, some more people in the golf area, in the golf industry, and hopefully give you guys some extra insight into not just golf fitness, but performance, nutrition, practice, mindset, loads of other stuff we can do to help you guys play better golf this year. So, Sam, how are you? We are back. It's been a while. How are we getting on?
It's been a while. Yeah, no, we've been pretty busy in the background with Macro Golf, making changes on the app for coaching, everything like that. So yeah, it's all good. We got out for 9 holes earlier in the sun, which was quite nice. White Hill, your club's looking very, very lovely. Not too muddy this time of year. So it was nice.
Yeah, well, I think we've both played some golf, which has been good.
Yep.
We've both had some time off, but we've also been putting a lot of time into the business as well, trying to take the business to where we believe it can get to. But we're keen to get this podcast back consistent and back giving you guys some regular kind of useful content that you can take away. And we've had some good comments on the podcast so far with some episodes, and people telling us they've learned stuff and picked stuff up and found it valuable. So keen to progress to that and give you guys more content and more valuable information to help you not only play better golf but live better lives. That's what we're all about, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
We've got 6 main questions for tonight. So 6 questions we're going to ask. We'll do 3 each, and it's a nice variety of questions. These were questions that came through on Instagram. So we've got a variety of questions that you guys have sent in over the last few weeks, and we're going to try and cover them to our best ability. I always like this style because we always have different answers to stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how we answer these questions differently. But yeah, if anyone does have any more questions for future episodes, obviously just ping them in either on Instagram or you can drop us emails. All the details are below in the notes to this episode. So Sam, do you want to kick us off with question number 1? What are we talking about first up?
Question number 1. How to reduce back pain when making a swing change or when trying to change your move.
Topical for this time of year for sure.
Very cool. And I know you've actually been working with someone who has been trying to do this recently. So I think quite relevant for you to kickstart us off with this one.
Yeah, I've actually had quite a few people. I just spoke to someone else yesterday who had the exact same thing. We never like to name names, but these actually, both of these players are people that I work with. One's a pro, one's a good amateur, and they're actually trying to make the same change. Funnily enough, they're both trying to gain more spinal tilt through impact. So they're trying to create more spine bend, more side bend, more spinal tilt. And both of them have actually fed back to me that they've had some back pain as a result of trying to make these swing changes, right? So this is topical. It's not unusual at all. It's a great question. So, what was the question? How to reduce the amount of pain?
Yes,
right?
How to reduce back pain when making a swing change. I've got my own thoughts, but I want to hear how you
go first. Tell me. No, you tell us first. Tell us your thoughts.
I was literally just about to say my favorite phrase straight off the back, and I'm going to have to not to, but I'm going to start with it. It does depend, right? I think the first thing I would ask the person is, why are we trying to create a change? What other compensations might we have by creating this change? If we're trying to create, especially like a severe change like you're speaking about with more side bend, and it's causing pain, if we're an amateur, I would ask why. Like, what are we gaining from this, and what are the pros, what are the cons? The cons in some cases might actually outweigh the pros, right? It might mean less time playing. It might mean, right, I've got to do more physio, or whatever it is. For a pro, it's slightly different. If I'm going to actually answer the question itself instead of sidetrack around it like I normally do, how to reduce back pain when making a swing change? Are we doing any core work? Are we doing any mobility work, basically? And then we'll have to look off the back of that. Or are we trying to create something that the body just for now can't do? Are we trying to put the body in positions that at the moment we just aren't physically strong enough or mobile enough to get into those positions with speed, because we're not even saying, right, can you get into however many degrees of side bend? We're saying, right, can you do that while you're swinging a club 100 miles an hour, often uphill, like whatever it is. So that's where I would start.
Yeah, I think you covered a lot of the points in there that I was thinking of. I think, we need to always need to ask ourselves, why we're making this change. That's valid. It's not necessarily conversations that we will have the answers to, but we'll be able to ask those questions to the golfer. That's definitely something I do regularly. If someone says I'm making this change, and I'll say, okay, why? Why are we making that change? Because that gives us a little bit of reasoning. I think the other thing we need to do is twofold. One, we need to improve our resilience to that move. So we need to become stronger. We need to become more mobile. We need to become more robust to getting our body into those positions. And as you said, getting into those positions with speed. But I think we also just need to manage our load. I think this is one of the big ones that I see with this. I think when people try and make a swing change, that often is accompanied with hitting a lot of golf balls, a lot of practice drills, a lot of repetition, and that is what is needed quite often to make significant change. But quite often these people are not used to it. They're not used to that movement, and they're not used to that amount of frequency and that amount of load. And quite often our body then reacts with whether that's pain, inflammation, stiffness, tightness, whatever, right? So we both like to dart around the question. Let's say if we're going to answer the question, we're going to manage load, decrease volume, most likely, and we're going to increase strength, stability, and mobility in whatever area it is that's suffering, right? Because we've obviously said side bend, but it might be that people. I was speaking to someone last week who's trying to create better shoulder positions. They're trying to get into more external rotation. They start to get some irritation in that shoulder. Yeah, okay, fine, because they don't have great mobility in that shoulder, so they're forcing themselves constantly into a position that the body is not used to. We get aggravation, right? So same situation: manage the load, manage the volume, improve mobility, stability, and strength.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Seems to be the answer to most stuff we say, right? But
yeah, basically, right. The key one, and I just want to touch on what you did there about managing the load, managing the volume. We did a blog post on this a couple months back, was actually why it is important to track your volume. How many balls are you used to hitting a week? And then if you're going to double, triple that, you're going to expect, even if you're not going to create a swing change, you're going to expect a little bit of soreness, tightness there. So just ramp it up slowly. Don't go from playing a couple of rounds in the summer to then getting onto the range every other day, hitting however many hundreds of balls, and expect just to be able to do that. You've got to slowly ramp it up. Same as training. You can't go from going to the gym once a week to 5 times a week without some sort of ramifications there.
Yeah, 100%. And for example, I spoke to someone last night who's the pro we mentioned in the previous example, and he used to play a lot, not practice tons. He was playing a lot, and he has now started to make this move. And over the last couple of weeks, he's been hitting probably 600-700 balls a week, of which 200 to 250 of those have been drivers. So it's a lot of volume. He's not used to that volume. We're on cold weather here now. The body's not going to be moving as well. And unfortunately, that's kind of going to be a typical reaction to that load.
Yeah.
But get stronger, get more stable, get more mobile, manage the volume, and that's going to be your best way to stay pain-free, I think.
100%. 100%.
I think we answered that. I think we gave a good answer.
I think so. I think we did.
Maybe people are going to want examples. So I would say, Palloff press, core stability exercises. Anyone who has the Macro Golf app, if you want to search through rotation and then search through stability, using that way, you'll find the exercises we recommend for core stability.
Any
anti-rotation exercises.
Anti-rotation, I was about to say, any kind of unilateral loading, so just loading one side of the body. If you're doing like a reverse lunge or something, the core's going to automatically switch on there. Any overhead stuff's fantastic if you're able enough to do that with step ups and balances and things. This is all specifically for back pain, obviously. But yeah, there's a ton of really good stuff out there that you can help to make your body as robust as possible to get into positions.
Yeah, agreed. Nice. Yeah, I think we answered that pretty well. All right, let's go for something a little bit more generic, not as specific as making swing changes and back pain. The next question here is: do we have any tips for more energy, both on and off the golf course? So, how do we increase energy levels off the golf course, and how do we increase energy levels on the golf course?
Interesting. While I just make some notes.
Yeah, I can cheat on this because 2 weeks ago I actually did a presentation on this exact topic on the Golf Fitness School. So
Did you?
I've kind of got I can kind of cheat. But what I kind of said to the guys wasn't that is actually I do believe that if we can increase our energy levels off the golf course, then naturally we do have more energy on the golf course. I do believe that is the case. Yeah, I've kind of got a little formula that I kind of talked them through, which I think definitely helps people improve energy level. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this as well. I'd like to hear what you do with your clients. For anyone that does suffer with energy, or anyone that suffers with burnout as well, or avoiding burnout and trying to manage energy expenditure, stress, and strain.
Yeah, perfect. So the first one I always go to with energy levels is sleep. How many hours of sleep are we getting a night? I think that's the biggest one. We're going to probably get into some more nuancy, top level things that you can do, but there's no point doing a lot of that stuff if you're not sleeping 7-8 hours a night. Why aren't we sleeping that? And then we can look into sleep patterns, what you're doing just before you go to sleep, and help there. But I think sleep is 100% the biggest factor for energy levels. And then I'd start looking at nutrition. I'd start looking at nutrition, hydration. How are we doing there? Is there anything we can be doing to improve that? And I'd say that's particularly more for, that's where we can see a bit of a help on course. If you're feeling burnout on the course, is what are you having before you play? What are you drinking while you play? All of that, we can start helping there. But like you said, I completely agree. If you're going to feel tired off the course, you're probably not going to feel energized on the course, no matter what. So if we can fix it off the course, it kind of solves the problem on the course anyway. There's little things we can touch upon. Stress is a really good one. I like to use a lot of journaling. I think both of us use journaling with our clients if they're burning out or things like that to help. But typically, I'd do a deeper dive into sleep, nutrition would be where I would start for feeling burnout.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I was just getting my list up here, and I basically split into 4 categories for the guys. I said sleep, nutrition, habits, and exercise were my 4. And then we basically split those 4 down. I think sleep is really important in getting kind of consistency of the sleep, the depth of the sleep, and the time of the sleep. You mentioned there the time. I think the depth and the quality is important. But I notice myself, and I notice a lot of my clients, the consistency of that sleep is also really important. If you're constantly going to bed at the same time, getting up at the same time, your general energy levels throughout the day are just so much better. If you're someone 100%. That has to, for example, do shifts, where you kind of do earlys, late nights, that type of thing, or some days you're going to bed at 10 o'clock, then other days you're going to bed at 2 o'clock. Even if you're staying in your bed from 2 till 10, it's not going to be as good quality sleep as that consistency. So that kind of formulates all part of sleep. But I think all 3 of those are important. I think in terms of nutrition, the amount of calories you're consuming is obviously going to be important, but I think the consistency of the meals, the timing of the meals, having meals that don't irritate your stomach and make you feel sluggish and make you feel horrible, vitamins, minerals, all of this stuff makes such a big difference to our overall energy. I just think it's all of it is important. It's just crazy how important this stuff is. I'm just looking through the rest of my notes here from this. I know it's a bit of a cheat code. Habits. Again, we spoke about evening routines, morning routines, how we start our days, reducing our amount of time being sat down, reducing our time on screens. All of this stuff, we just kind of put it together and said all of this is making a difference to the amount of energy we have in the day. And obviously exercise, we know that exercise increases our energy levels throughout the day as well, and correct amount of exercise or not over exercising as well makes a difference. So I know I've just spurted out a million things there, but all of these are important. If you are lacking energy in the day and you don't have the energy and the get up to go and do everything you want to do, I think you got to look at all of this stuff. All of there's opportunities in all of that to make progress.
Well, one I would just want to dig a bit deeper into there, Joe, that I think you touched on that is really important with the sleep, is that typically a lot of my clients tend to sleep fairly well Monday to Friday, and then go to sleep much later on the weekend, get up much later. Then when it comes back time to getting up earlier on the Monday again, just like circadian rhythm just thrown all over the place, and then you're just sluggish for that first part of the week. It's the word consistency of trying to stay in within a sort of half an hour range every single day of when you're going to bed and when you're getting up makes a huge change. It's one thing I can speak to personally from years and years and years ago, making sure I was, even on weekends, getting up slightly earlier just made a massive difference to my energy levels, and not feeling sluggish later on into the day and everything like that is so important.
Yeah, it's like self-induced jet lag, right? Like it's basically what you're doing is you're basically having jet lag. You can basically get up 2 hours later, go to bed 2 hours later, and it's you're basically changing your rhythms, and that's why it disturbs us so much. Love all of that. Couldn't agree more. Hopefully we've answered that question. I mean, I'm happy to read it out. Like I'll give the overall. So basically, I took this presentation was like 30 minutes long, and in the end, I basically just gave 4 really obvious sentences, and I'll read them out. So the first one for sleep was: build a consistent evening routines that allows for the correct hours of time in bed and deep sleep. Improve quality of the bedroom and promote a deeper sleep with less interruptions. Avoid caffeine and alcohol to increase overall quality of sleep. Seems obvious, right? But actually, how many of us are doing that every day?
Yep.
Not a lot, right?
Yep.
Nutrition: eat whole, natural, rich foods rich in vitamins and minerals. Manage your intake throughout the day to avoid complete depletion or overconsumption. Avoid foods that irritate the stomach or cause negative reactions. Supplement vitamins or minerals that are not being sufficiently consumed by food and drink. Again, seems obvious, but how many of us are depleting ourselves throughout the day and then stuffing our face? Again, like all of these things seem obvious, but until we actually kind of look at our normal habits, makes a difference. Again, with habits: reducing frequency and total exposure to screens, stress, sitting, breaking up prolonged periods of being sat down, taking time away from screens and artificial light. Like all of this stuff is going to make a difference. And exercise, we said exercise regularly, avoiding overtraining and burnout, planning in regular rest days and deload weeks. Like, seems obvious, but
how many people are doing all
I
of
know I
those
don't do it
things?
all. I don't do it
No.
all. Yeah, it makes a difference. So if you are someone who's struggling with energy on and off the golf course, or if you're the person that asked the question, there's your blueprint. There's your blueprint for more energy, more productivity, and better performance. Cool. Sam, back over to you.
Let's go with this one. So, best way of making the most out of the winter for making progress on my golf game.
Ooh. Okay. Well, there's going to be less golf.
There's going to be less golf.
Typically, there's going to be less golf or less golf rounds of golf, playing golf holes. So always when that happens, we've got an opportunity to obviously practice more. But we've also got an opportunity to train harder and train a little bit more frequently and a bit more consistently, without having the detriment of aches, pains, fatigue affecting the golf. So, what's the best way to use that? I know your phrase is going to depend. Yeah, I mean, I suppose we're trying to add strength, speed, power, mobility, distance, and all of that stuff. And the winter's a great time to do that, obviously. I don't know. How would you say what would be the best use of?
It's hard to say.
A lot of the stuff we believe we just do it all year, right? A lot of this stuff.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly. It's hard to say what would be the best without knowing the specifics for each individual, right? I know for myself at the moment, I'm trying to get a lot of practice in, so I know that winter's a good time where I might not be able to play as much golf to actually get down to the range and do some technical practice, do some other things there to really try and move the needle within my swing. Someone else might be completely opposite, that they've maybe been going to the gym once a week, but they want to become a bit more robust because during the end of last season they were getting a bit of pain as they were playing and wanted to play a bit more. So do we need to look at different training techniques? Do we need to put them on different programs? Things like that. It's identifying what the goal is, which we've touched upon in our podcast before. Identify the goal and then take a step back, reverse engineer it and put the plan in for that. How many hours a week do you have? How can we divide that up to range, golf, gym, stretch, whatever that might be, and then put your plan into place that you can follow?
I think off season is probably the best opportunity to gain muscle.
Agreed.
For most, I think it's quite hard for a lot of people to gain muscle throughout the golf season.
Yeah.
Most because the calorie expenditure over golf season is quite high. For people that play a lot of golf and enjoy a lot of golf, they generally will burn off a lot more calories throughout the summer, and can't get to the gym as much. So I think it's harder to gain muscle. There's definitely things we can do to preserve muscle throughout the season, but I think it's hard to gain muscle throughout the season. So yeah, I'd probably say gain muscle, probably gain speed. Probably not a bad idea.
Yep.
But everything else we said, we probably should be able to do a year, right? Like as we said, like you should be able to get more mobile, should be able to get stronger, should be able to get fitter throughout the whole season. So there's no reason to only do that in the winter.
No,
I would say.
no. But
Building
it might
habits,
just
there
give
you go. That's a good
you,
one. You can build the habit of getting to
build
the gym
habits.
in the winter and
Yeah.
then maintain that habit in the summer.
Yeah.
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 Or get good at another sport that doesn't involve rain.
Yeah,
Like
you can
darts.
play
I've
indoors.
got a dartboard here now. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, do you think we've answered that sufficiently?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's go to my second question here. So, actually, very similar to question one, although they don't sound similar. I think our answer is going to be very similar. Do we have any advice for people to wake up in the morning without pain when they've played the golf the previous day? So, imagine we've played golf the previous day, wake up the next day, and our body's in pain and it's stiff. What advice do we have for this golfer to avoid waking up the next day in pain?
All right, so we can kind of take this two ways, right? We can be reactive to someone that has woken up with pain. What's the best way to deal with that? Mobility, start off with some stretches, some movement, some steps, lots of hydration. And then kind of being proactive. How can we play golf and then not be in pain the next morning? And that will be with all the habits we've spoken about before, becoming slightly more robust. That might involve changing your gym routine ever so slightly, focusing a little bit more on some core and some rotational work, perhaps. Yeah, you can take that either way. Either way, I think for the most people listening, it's probably unrealistic to say you're never going to wake up in pain after some sort of training or golf, right? We can pretty much assume at some point in our lives you're going to play a lot more golf than you ever used to, and you might be a little bit sore and tight. So have a routine that you can go to that's going to kind of check in with the body, stretch everything that needs stretching, engage everything that needs engaging, so you're better off to recover as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. I think, I agree. I think you're twofold, right? You're stopping it at source, getting stronger, getting fitter, getting more mobile, getting more robust, and you're then reacting to that situation. Better food and nutrition after you play, and freeing yourself up with a little bit of movement, steps, mobility, whatever it is the next morning. But yeah, right. I think and also realizing what type of pain it is. Is it pain that's stiffness that might just come from playing golf and just a little bit stiff, and doing a bit of a warm up and whatever can make you feel a bit better? Or is it pain that, hang on a minute, I've done something here that's a bit more of a problem, and I've gone, way beyond my levels of
it's a really interesting point.
Away.
It's a really interesting point. That is one that's actually I've been trying to get across a lot this week with slightly newer clients, of being able to identify your body and knowing your body a little bit better than you do, rather than just saying, oh, this hurts. Well, actually, what is there something severe there? What type of pain is it? How does the pain feel? So then we can put in the best kind of procedure to get out of that. If it is something really serious, then perhaps nothing might be the best thing to do. If it is just stiffness, tightness, then we need to do the opposite. We need to move as much as possible. We need to limber up. We need to get the blood pumping. We need to hydrate, all of that. So it's one thing I'd really recommend to you guys listening, is try to get to know your body as well as you possibly can to react to different aches, pains that you might have.
Yeah, love that answer. And I think again, like say for example, we took. Let's say we take the person who asked this question. We could say to them, okay, well, what level is your pain at? Are you at the point where you could jump out of bed and go and stand on the first tee and hit a golf shot? They'd probably no. Or are you at the point where after warming up for 5 minutes, you could go hit a golf shot? Maybe. Well, you're not at the point where you wake up and you have to call an ambulance. So there's a big variety of waking up with pain. And it's not just
Absolutely.
I'm in pain, yes or no. It's like, what severity is this? What's type of pain in this? Is this stiff? Is this ache? Is this a sharp pain? Is this a nerves like sciatic based pain? Is this, am I just fatigued? There's so many variations of it. And I think, as you said, getting in tune with that and understanding what am I experiencing and then what's my solution to solve that gives a much more, gives control back, I think, to the golfer. And that's something I try and do with my one-to-one clients. I try and give them that control back to say, okay, your back's hurting a little bit. Okay, just lay down on the floor and breathe a little bit. How does that feel?
Yeah.
Okay, now can you move your legs a little bit? How does that feel? Like, well, now can we do this? How does that feel? And just letting them understand that just because there's pain doesn't mean that we're already calling an ambulance and going to the hospital. Like, there's a big kind of spectrum that we need to kind of explore.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Yeah,
we took that deep.
All
All right,
right.
Sam, back over to you.
Back over. So my last one for today. Fastest way to add club head speed.
Swing faster.
Yeah, there we go. Intent. Have the intent.
Literally, yeah. Literally, like, and not just as a joke of like, okay, you want to swing faster, swing faster. Swing faster for a few days, and you'll be a lot faster. Like, it really does work that quickly. Yeah, that is the fastest way. If we're trying to get the fastest way to our club head speed, swinging it harder is the fastest way to our club head speed for sure.
100%. 100%. You can't swing at 95% every single day. Your 100% doesn't move up at all. You have to swing at 100% for that 100% to move up. Swinging anything 99%, 98% doesn't move the needle at all. It has to be everything you can physiologically do to move the club, and then you'll start to see that. Are there any other ways, any other implements that we can use? Perhaps, we can use some speed training stuff, some relentless sticks, what we use with clients, which are absolutely fantastic. Caveat, might not be the best way, might not be the most, the best way for longevity to add club head speed, but in terms of the fastest way to get there, just go hit 10 balls at the end of your practice as hard as you can. A couple times a week, you'll get quicker.
Yeah, I think there's let's play this game. Like, if you take a golfer with 100-mile-an-hour swing speed on the course, and we took them into the studio and we did some speed drills with them, we would be able to increase their club head speed in that session by probably 5 or 6 mile an hour. If you took someone that swung the golf club 100 mile an hour and you took them to a coach that specializes in ground reaction force, for example, I'm sure they'd be able to get also 5 or 6 mile an hour increase in that golfer. If you took them to, let's say, if you took them for a really good warm up, they'd probably also add 4 or 5 mile an hour. If you took them onto the driving range with their mates and said that whoever hits it the furthest wins £1,000, you'd probably also add 5 or 6 mile an hour. So there's so many different ways that golfers can access more speed. The fastest way is to swing it faster, or to, have the intent to swing it faster. The most efficient way is going to be to, let's not get tapped into hitting the ball further. But the most efficient way is going to be to work on your body, technique, making all these things happen over a longer period. So, let's not get tapped into that. If anyone wants that information, they can go into the speed episode. But the fastest way to add swing speed is going to be having some kind of intent to swing the golf club faster. That does work.
To swing the club faster, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, awesome.
We're in agreement on that one. All right, last one before we tie this up. So, what are the best gym exercises for golfers? Interesting question. Tough question to answer. I know you're going to say it depends. So if you can't say it depends, let's say, okay, let's play another game. In spirit of Bob Does Sports, five best gym exercises for golfers. And I see what we'll do the game where you say one, I say one, you say one, I say one, and we can't say the same one. What are you putting at number 5? Or number 1? You can pick number 1 first. You can have first pick.
We have to do them in order.
So you pick your 1, I'll pick my 1, then we do 2, 3, yeah.
Okay, fine. So number 1, oh my God, I hate doing this. This speaks so much about what both we stand for with not prescribing exercise without knowing a person. Like, number 1, And I'd say exactly the same for any athlete or any human being in the world. I'd say
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. Any type
not
of squat? Any
barbells.
specific squat?
If I'm being so specific for general population, it would be a heels elevated goblet squat. There we go. My
Nice.
body's cringing as I'm saying this. I hate this. What you're doing to me right now.
Yeah, this is hard. This is there's caveat attached to this. This is very, very tough. Okay, I'm gonna go. Oh, this could be an hour long podcast on its own. I'm gonna go with a. I'm also gonna do a goblet variation, just simply because I think it's great for people to have control of body weight and it helps train posture a little bit. I'm gonna go with a goblet. I'm gonna go with a goblet reverse lunge.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I like the fact that a reverse lunge exposes you to hip extension, which I think is
100%.
just something we don't spend enough time. Like,
No,
I just think hip extension is gold. If you can
yeah,
spend a lot of time in hip extension, I think,
yeah.
yeah, I think we're
I
going to get enough
typically
core
typically
activation,
only
stability.
I typically only ever program reverse lunges. I don't
Yeah,
really do forward lunges with clients, just for exactly those reasons that you just spoke about.
I think they got their place. They got their place. You know, forward lunge. I do. Sometimes program forward lunge, but I just love a reverse lunge. I just think
Yeah,
they're just an awesome exercise. When
yeah,
done properly, they are, they're cool. A little bit of stability involved there. Single leg, bit of balance, core activation.
yep.
Yeah, if I could only ever do one exercise for the rest of my life, it would be a reverse lunge. So there you go. That's why that forced
Yeah,
my hand there a little bit.
mine would be the squat, and then I'd say my second would be a pull up.
Yeah,
I
it's a great shout.
absolutely love the mobility it gets with our shoulders back, especially if you're doing them correctly. But in terms of strength, force production for upper body, like posture, I think pull ups you can't go wrong with pull ups.
Yeah, I see your pull up, and I'm going to throw a lat pull down at you. Yeah,
The poor man's pull
that.
up.
Yeah, yeah. I just think that enough people don't. Say, for example, if someone can't do a pull up, there's a classic variation of using the assisted pull up machine. I'm sure people have seen them in the gym. I've just seen a lot of people use those machines wrong,
100%.
and not
Yeah,
using them
yeah.
in the correct way. So I just think a lat pull down is a safe way of doing it. I agree. I think similar to what we've said there. Like, I'm just imagining a typical golfer sat behind a desk, not having like if we can
Absolutely.
open up the hips with a reverse lunge, and if we can open up the chest and shoulders and strengthen the back with the pull down or a pull up, I think we're doing a pretty good job there. So, yeah, we're making a nice list here though. So let's say number 3. Go on, if you want to go for your third.
Number 3, golf. I'm gonna do a standing dumbbell shoulder press. Pretty
Ooh.
similar to what we said in terms of making the shoulders move properly for the pull ups and that pull down. But also pressing the weight overhead, making sure our core is engaged. I think that does so much for golfers.
Love it. I'm going to go a bit off piece and actually give an exercise that I don't program often. I'm going to go with a med ball throw.
Oh, yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, I just think if we can do like an explosive lateral med ball throw, I think we're going to tick a lot of boxes there. And if we were to only be able to do one exercise, yeah, that's my answer. I don't think there's much more.
I was gonna make my way
information?
onto my list just a little bit lower down. So I'll take that off mine. You've stolen that from me. Key thing
Go on,
I want
do
to
your
talk
number
about
4.
with med ball slams quickly, just like we spoke about with the club head speed, is intent. Don't do med ball slams half-heartedly. Do it as hard as you can. As hard as you can. Number 4, so I've got squat, pull up, shoulder press. I would do a pad off press. We've got to have some sort of anti-rotation exercise in there.
Yeah.
Absolutely love pad off press for golfers. They're just amazing for fixing posture, lower back pain, like understanding how to use the core correctly without tensing so much that then you can't actually rotate and swing the club. I use them a lot in terms of that with clients. Pad off press, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a great answer. That was on my list. I'm gonna have to think of another one. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with like a 90-degree box jump.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of ways that, like, say for example, if you only had one exercise, how do you train the body to move athletically and still provide enough stimulus to the rest of the body that it has to take some kind of load and some kind of strain? I think, I'm gonna go with like a 90-degree box jump. I'm happy with my decision. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that.
Talking
Your
yourself
fifth.
into it.
Yeah. I'm
My
happy.
fifth. So I'm not including any of yours in mine, am I? Because
No.
my next one was going to be a jump. So I would do a counter movement jump. Up onto your
Okay.
toes, slam your heels down, jump up high as you can. We've spoken about jumps before, why they're so important for golf and power and posture and things like that. Counter movement jump.
Oh man, you answered quick. You did give him time to think. Okay, I'm gonna go. So actually, I'm gonna skip. I'm not gonna answer the question directly because we've got. To be fair, the question was best gym exercises. So it wasn't like number only one.
Yeah.
So
We've
let's
just
say,
made
for
it harder
example,
on
if we've
ourselves,
already got.
basically.
Yeah, so I've got a reverse lunge, I've got a pull up, I've got a med ball throw, I've got a jump. So I think if I add some kind of press in there, I think I've got a pretty good workout. So I'm
Yeah.
going to go with an incline dumbbell bench press.
Interesting. Thoughts? Why?
I like doing dumbbell. I think dumbbell can help provide a little bit of stability to the shoulder.
Agreed.
I like incline because we can tap into the shoulders a little bit as well. And I think just brute pushing strength is a huge athletic trait.
Yeah.
And I think if we can build good pushing strength, but also it just fits in nicely with my other four. Makes a nice plan. Well, it's nice little round.
We've
It's a good
pretty
workout,
much
that. If anyone wants to do a workout,
100%.
pretty good workout.
I'll tell you what, guys. Do my 5, then do Joe's 5s, and see which ones you prefer. But they're basically the same work. They're basically the same exercises, just a different exercise selection. The furthest
So
one
if you
apart
think
is a shoulder press compared to your incline press, but they're all pretty much very similar.
Yeah. Basically, we're thinking about, unnaturally, we've just ticked off, naturally, but without thinking about it, we pretty much ticked to push, pull, lunge, hinge, squat, rotate.
Absolutely.
Right? Like these are principles of ticking our movements. If you go into the Macro Golf app, you can search by these movements. You can basically say, I want to do a push exercise, a pull exercise, a rotate exercise, a hinge, a squat, a lunge, whatever it is. And we've basically probably just picked our favorite exercises from that. From those categories, pretty much. So we did cheat a little bit, but I think that's.
No, I don't think so. I think
like,
if you were to say to me, I could only do those 5 exercises for the rest of my life, would I plateau? I would say probably not. I would be fairly confident I could add enough growth into those and change them with different tempos, etc., like that. That I'm covering. Maybe not every single body part, but enough for me to get quicker, faster, stronger, stay injury free with just those 5.
Yeah, I think you could. Yeah.
So that's
I agree. And
I like that.
And also, we're not even. I mean, I put a lat pull down in there, but I didn't need to. If we take pull up, for example, it's not a lot of equipment you really need to perform those workouts. Like those workouts we've just explained there are definitely doable in a home gym, in a garage gym, in a very, very low equipment filled gym. We're just being quite clever with the way we program it to tick all of our boxes and make sure that all movements are being covered. We're not necessarily thinking about each muscle being covered. We're thinking about each movement being covered. If we can cover each movement, we know that we're going to be covering our bases.
Absolutely.
Maybe we didn't have a hinge in there. Maybe it'd be nice to have a hinge, but some kind of pull or hinge movement would be nice. But
a hinge, but with the 5 there, I'd prefer. Then I'd take out my squat and do a hinge instead. But I prefer the changes we get in the hips, the knees working, the glutes working from a squat than to a hinge.
I think that's fair. Cool. That sparked some pretty good conversation. I think that was.
I like that.
Hopefully, that was informative for everyone listening. We should probably do more of these top 5 things, because we always come out with weird answers when we do this. We did it for our snacks as well, I remember, and I think it's a fun way to play around with it. So we'll do a little bit more of that. So if anyone's got any suggestions to them, send them in. Sam, anything else you wanted to mention today to send off on this podcast, episode 18?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It's good getting back. There were some really interesting questions. So like we said at the start, guys, if you do have any more questions, fire them in. More than happy to get them answered. And yeah, hopefully we spoke earlier about getting some guests on, what type of guests they would be. Really excited with some of the names we've got lined up. Should be some really interesting insights for you guys to provide a bit more value.
Yeah, we've definitely got people that we've got lined up. It's just trying to match diaries is awkward between me, Sam, and the people we've got matched. So we're gonna try and get to work on that over the next few months and get some stuff recorded in, and then we'll probably release those out in order. But yeah, anyone who's got more feedback or questions, send it in through Instagram or email. And of course, go and get the Macro Golf app. Everything we've spoken about today, all these exercises we've spoken about, all of this is there and it's ready to help you in this off season. So go and download that either from the App Store or from the Play Store. You can download it for free, have a little check out, see some exercises, and then you can also use podcast 10 as your discount on the website to get 10% off as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. Brilliant.
Guys, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Peace. Thanks, guys.